All right, we're back. Got interviews with Daddio. Now, I've got another. I had a comment on one of the previous interviews that we did from a friend of mine, Kelly Asbury, and she had like a two-part question, but we kind of already answered it because we said that you'd already said that you went to Walton
Yeah.
and you graduated. But her question was, "What is your favorite memory of growing up on the farm, and do you miss not living on the farm anymore?"
Yes, I miss it very much because that was my go-to place when I wanted to get away from everything and growing up, and especially during hunting season, squirrel season. Wesley didn't like to hunt that much, but I did. I used to take Dad's old Remington 22 rifle, had a clip that held six.
Magazine.
Magazine had not a clip, had a magazine that held six shells, and I would beg Mom. I said, "Mom, let me go hunting and let me go hunting." I'll do. Said, "Well, she's getting supper ready," and then I wanted to hunt till dark, which I did, and till I couldn't see anymore, and so that was one of my best memories, going squirrel hunting and just in the woods. Sometimes I wouldn't even shoot squirrels. I just sat around in the woods and watch them. But anyway, I was really wanted to get hunting because in that day and time, people you would see all kinds of cars like in Clendenin or different places had squirrel tails on their antenna.
Mm-hmm.
That was their rite of passage, whatever you call it, their trophies. So I didn't know how I was going to do that, carrying them to school, but I did. Anyway, we would talk about the next day, my buddies, we'd talk about squirrel hunting. And so I went squirrel hunting to darkness. One occasion, Wesley was sitting in the living room reading, and I come back, and it was a little after dark, and I walked and cleaned my shoes off and walking through the house. And so he said, "You didn't get any, did you?" And I shot a groundhog, and I pulled it out and threw it in his lap. And he jumped up, and then I've had to pick it up and wipe the blood up out of the floor, and it really surprised him. But
Did you fix it up, or did Grandma cook it?
Pardon?
You fix it up, or did Grandma cook
No,
it?
Grandma cooked it some. I think she baked it in the oven, some sweet potatoes or something around it. But anyway, we ate it. It was good. It was a clean animal because they're all vegetarians.
Yeah. Well, I remember you passing on that thing, the squirrel tail thing to me when I was younger.
Yeah.
Because do you remember the first time I shot my first squirrel?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But before I get to that, let me back up a little bit.
Okay.
Another time, Joan, I think she was just maybe 3 years old, and I was squirrel hunting one time, and I come back, and she was my little buddy, and of course the other siblings too. They're so much younger than me, but anyway, I was walking through the house, and Joan saw it and coming in, and I was carrying it in my hands, and she took it out of my hand and was holding it and petting it. Said, "Oh, kitty, kitty, kitty," and it was stiff, it was dead. And Mom said, "Why you letting?" I said, "Get that from her." And anyway, I got it, and "Oh no, my kitty," or something like that. So anyway, I didn't. Said, "Now don't let her see you skinning it." But anyway, I took it down to where I used to skin it to the creek bank, and I brush pile, whatever. And of course the dogs would get the parts. And anyway, we cooked it up, and Mom cooked a pear boil it first, and then fried it and rolled in flour, and we ate a squirrel. But anyway, that's not the first one we eaten. But then another time, you were probably 12, maybe. About 12. I think you're about 12 or 13. And I have that single shot 22 is what you used when we went hunting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Went up on the ridge above the house, a big flat with had real big boulders up there, and walked down over the hill with a big cotton tree. But anyway, there's a big field up there, and I'd killed a lot of squirrels up there in the past, and you had your hunting gear on, a orange sweatshirt or something, and I was up there, and I saw a squirrel coming out of the hole up into the tree, and I said, "There's a squirrel right there." And I said, "Now watch it." And he said, "Where?" You said, "Where?" And I said, "Watch that hole up there on top of the tree." And I stood off to the left a little bit, and I said, "Now when he comes out and pokes his head out, shoot him, but wait till he gets halfway out. Don't you, because if you shoot him in the head, he'll fall back down in the hole." So you waited and waited, and finally he came out and got down about halfway out of the hole, and you shot him, I think, right through the head, and just looked at me and grinned. And I said, "Well, go get your trophy," and you picked it up, and then you looked at it, and some tears was in your eyes. You shot it, and then you cried a little bit, and I think that's probably what I did when I killed my first squirrel. But anyway, you were proud of it, and got pictures and stuff, and then we would used to practice with the 22. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Up at the farm, and
where you taught me firearm safety.
Yeah, and
how to handle a gun.
And taught you that, and I think maybe it was a 22.
Yeah, it was the 20. Yeah, it was the same rifle.
Single shot, and we were out there, and Melody was down there, and I put a can over on the creek bank up on the hill there, and you were standing on the other side of the creek, and I said, "Wait till I get back," and I didn't throw it, I set it up there on the limb or something. So anyway, I came back down there and I said, "No, just take your time and breathe in and breathe out and get good aim," because I knew you could shoot and all right. So you shot the can off, and you were probably younger than the last time I was telling about. But as soon as you shot it, Melody was standing over to the right, and you turned and said, "I got it!" And Melody,
because I pointed the gun at her.
You're pointing the gun right at her because you just turned like that, and she kind of slapped it around or something, and then you cried at that too. And I said, "Now, Brian, what are you supposed to do?" I said, "Don't point at anything unless you're going to shoot it." I said, "Okay." So that was all right. You learned a lesson there,
yeah.
And that was good. And there's a lot of stories about hunting that.
But that was your favorite time on the farm?
That was one of my favorite
spending
times.
the time in the woods.
My escape was going out in the woods, and sometimes just sitting there. And I'd like to go out sometimes on Sunday afternoon when I couldn't hunt. Then I'd just like to go out and walk in the woods and